Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our May 11th, 2020 City Council meeting. If I could ask you to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Stacy, if you could please call the roll.
Councilman Gary Donovan.
Councilman Gary Donovan, Councilman at Large, present.
Councilwoman Colleen O'Connor.
Councilwoman Colleen O'Connor, Council at Large here.
Councilwoman Bridget Hosky.
Councilwoman Bridget Hosky, 1st District, present.
Councilman William X. Conlon.
Councilman William X. Conlon, 2nd District, present.
Councilwoman Liz Johnston.
Johnston, 3rd District, present.
Councilman Mitch Galagnano. Councilman Mitch Galagnano. I see him. Councilwoman Robin Hamilton.
Councilwoman Robin Hamilton, 5th District, present.
Councilman Peter Massaro.
Councilman Peter Massaro, 6th District, present.
Councilwoman Trenae McGee.
7th District, present.
Councilwoman Crystal Finelli.
Councilwoman Crystal Finelli, 8th District, present.
Councilman Robert Bruno.
Councilman Robert Bruno, 9th District, present.
Councilman Barry Lee Cohen.
Councilman Barry Lee Cohen, 10th District, present.
And Chairman Ron Quagliani.
Councilman Ron Quagliani, Council at Large, present. Thank you, Stacy. Before we enter into public session, I would just ask if we could take a moment of silence for two West Haven residents that worked for the city for a number of years that has passed this past week. Vicky Marino was a longtime West Haven Police Department employee, the administrative assistant to the traffic division for many years, where I had the pleasure of working with her for 5 years. She passed away this week, as well as Cecilia Cassell, who was a secretary at Seth Haley School. If we could have a moment of silence for them and our other West Haven residents that have passed this week to COVID-19. Thank you. I believe we have two letters submitted for public session this evening. I'd ask the clerk to read them into the record.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, our first letter is from Stanley Heller, who resides on Norwalk Street, and his letter states, I call on the council to pass a resolution calling for adoption by the U.S. government of the Medicare for All bill filed in 2019. A resolution of support of that bill was adopted by the New Orleans City Council on May 7th. The Medicare for All plan was always a fine idea, but after the huge job losses in the pandemic, it becomes a necessity. A brand new study by the Robert Woods Foundation estimates that between 25 to 43 million people will lose their employer-based health insurance because of unemployment this year. Most will be able to go on Medicaid, but an estimated 7 million people will have no medical insurance at all. This is in addition to the 27 million people whom the census reported as having no health insurance in 2018. This would be catastrophic. Employer-based health insurance is a shaky proposition in the best of times, and we have no idea when those good times might come again. Medicare for All means no cost to the patient at the point of service. It would be paid for out of federal taxes. It would not depend on your job status at all. Many studies show the plan would be far cheaper to the nation than the mix of current insurance plans and unpaid for trips to the emergency rooms. The most recent study done by the Yale School for Public Health and released this February has shown that the plan would save $450 billion a year and save 68,000 lives a year. Please support Medicare for all and publicize your stand widely. Join the growing demand for this necessary life-saving legislation. That's our first letter. And our second letter is from Aaron Charney, 146 Union Avenue. And he writes, West Haven Council regarding low interest rate program. Dear honorable members of the West Haven City Council, I'm writing to respectfully ask you to reconsider your decision from the April 22nd, 2020 special meeting to change an interest rate of 3% on late payments for taxes due July 1st, 2020. I believe that the city should not be profiting off the pain and suffering of our residents. We have residents who have been without work for months due to no fault of their own. Milford and Hartford, for example, are not charging interest for those 90 days. I believe this is the kind and just thing to do during these trying times. If the city is worried that taxpayers would apply when they won't need this program, then I suggest that there be an application to show they have been harmed. Hartford, for example, requires residents and businesses to fill out an application. Residents need to certify that they have suffered at least a 20% drop in income due to COVID-19. A business has to certify that they have lost at least 30% of their revenue due to COVID-19. Using an upfront application would be a superior process to requiring residents to apply for tax abatements, which was floated as an option at the April 22nd meeting and would offer those suffering a little privacy. I'd hate to see the names of 150 residents on a council agenda asking for tax abatements. Thank you, Aaron Charney. And that's all our letters this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Stacy. We'll now enter into our regular council meeting. If I could have a motion for the approval of the minutes of the April 22nd, 2020 special meeting.
Motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Bruno, seconded by Councilman Cohen. Is there any discussion on those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries. Second is the approval of the minutes of April 27th, 2020. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Massaro, seconded by Councilman Donovan. Is there any discussion on those minutes? I just have one correction, Stacy, to those minutes. On page 2, under council as a whole, Councilwoman Hamilton, third paragraph reads, the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby is in accordance with City Rule, Council Rule 25, determines that it's in the best interest of the City of West Haven to authorize Mayor Nancy R. Rossi to enter into a contract to see the library building to the Acorn Group. So we should remove C and put sell. And that's the only amendment I have. Or change. Anybody else have any modifications? Seeing none, all in favor as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries. I could ask the clerk to please pass out tonight's communications.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have before us Communication A from Mayor Nancy R. Rossi in regards to permit fees for outdoor dining, which will be assigned to the Finance Committee, Chairwoman Hosky. We have before us Communication B from Chief Joseph Perno in regards to animal shelter donations, which will be assigned to the Finance Committee Chairwoman Hosky. And we have before us Communication C from Finance Director Frank Sapolinski in regards to the Allentown Fire Department current year budget transfers, which will be signed to the Finance Committee Chairwoman Hosky. And that's all our communications this evening.
Thank you, Stacy. We'll recess into committee meetings. The first committee is the Finance Committee, Councilwoman Hosky.
Thank you, Chairman. The time is now 7:17 and the Committee on Finance is in session. Members present are Councilman Cohen, Councilman Massaro, Councilman Bruno, Councilwoman Hamilton, and myself acting as chair. We have before us tonight Communication A from Mayor Nancy Rossi in regards to permit fees for outdoor dining. I would like to present a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Hamilton. Can I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Cohen. Councilman Bruno, thank you. Is there any discussion? Councilman Cohen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do support the waiver of $50, and I was going to make an amendment that given how fluid the pandemic is and to allow our small businesses every chance for success they may have, it's only $50, but it's $50. And I'd like to entertain that instead of it being effective from May 12th, 2020 until June 1st, 2020, I'd like to extend that to September 1st, 2020, simply because there might be some businesses that are not sure if they want to open or not. And they want maybe to give them to the 4th of July or Labor Day. So I'd like to give them a little longer to make that decision to September 1st. That's my amendment. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion?
So,
Councilman,
I'm sorry, just a point of order. So Councilman Cohen made an amendment, so you'll need a second, discuss the amendment, take a vote on the amendment, and then we'll go from there if it passes or fails.
Second. A motion, right?
this is inside the Finance Committee, so only Finance Committee members can vote on this. So Councilman Cohen made an amendment. Councilwoman Hamilton, you are?
Yes. And I make a motion to accept the amendment.
Okay. And you said I need a second now, or that was the second?
No, Councilman Cohen made the motion to amend. Councilwoman seconded. Councilwoman Hamilton seconded the motion to amend. And now you could have discussion within your committee.
Okay, I thought we were going to have discussion first. So Councilman Massaro, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Well, it's not on Councilman Cohen, what he did. I have no problem with that. I have two other questions on this. The governor came out with an order on this throughout the whole state. Do we have to do this tonight? I mean, it should be automatically. I mean, he came out with an order on, and people could open up on the sidewalks, parking lots, and he came out with a general order on it. Do we have to do this within the city each time? If the governor okayed it? Just asking a question.
Lee's not here to ask that question to, but Mayor Rossi, I'm going to call on you in 1 second because I want to ask you a question myself. But I would imagine, irregardless, I would just want to do it. I think it shows a good faith effort and us being proactive because when this, I think it was like last week before the governor even thought of his, I was reaching out to you guys to get this approved. But I do want to let Mayor Rossi talk, and maybe she can speak to why she only did it to June 12th. Because I think when we had that discussion, Mayor Rossi, correct me if I'm wrong, we both discussed that we would extend it if need be, or you were going to do it for a month. But please tell us why.
Well, first, that was it. We were doing it for a month, so the 30 days is the month. We could always extend it, depending on how popular it is or is not. As far as what the governor wrote, when I spoke to Planning and Development, specifically Dave Colleen, he thought it was a good idea and didn't say anything about it's already been waived, and they have all the governor's orders as well. So even if the governor did do it, a lot of times he just puts things out there and then we decide for our own local what we're doing or not. I just think it's a good idea. I think it $50 may not seem like a lot, but if you don't have $50, it's a lot. And again, this is just for the basic outdoor dining, according to Dave Clean. Like, say somebody wanted to rebuild something or put, a patio in or something like that, that would not, that has nothing to do with it. It's the outdoor dining, and that's what it was.
1 second, Councilman Cohen. Do you have a thought as to the amendment going out to September 12th? I know, we had talked about it in regards to doing 30 days and then possibly extending it when we had that conversation.
My thought of going all the way till September 12th, I think that's kind of too long, because you usually wouldn't start an outdoor dining thing in September, because by then the days are getting shorter and cooler. I don't have any problem though with extending it beyond. I just think it might be a good practice to see how it's received. This is something new. We can revisit it again in a couple of weeks and see, or if it's up to the council, if they want to extend it 90 days as opposed to that, no problem. First off, I like outdoor dining and I think a lot of people do. And I think it would, help the businesses that want to maybe for their first time have an outdoor dining part of their business.
Councilman Cohen, did you want to speak?
Yes, I just clarify. I said till September 1st. If I misspoke, I apologize. My rationale, Mayor, and everybody was, you know what? There's going to be some of these restaurants that have never done outdoor dining. We want to give them every chance. I don't feel like it needs to come back to the council again. In this way, we're pretty safe that we let them make 2 decision points. 3 decision points, one being Memorial Day, one being the 4th of July. And usually by September 1st, you're going to know if you're going to be open for Labor Day the following week. So I'm looking at it just to tear the Band-Aid all at once. I respect the rationale behind a month, but I'm just looking to do it. And it's not that much money at the end of the day, but it's a bigger gesture. And that's the only rationale I have behind it. So that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any thoughts regarding the amendment to September 1st? Councilman Massaro?
Like the mayor said, it's a new thing, it's something new. And another thing, we got to see how far they're going to come out with their dining on the sidewalks. People got to walk. So I think it's a new step and a new thing, the city into the whole state, which is getting totally ridiculous on different things we have to do in life. But I would say let's go, I would say maybe 2 months and start with 2 months and not go any further. See how it works out before we go all the way to 90. That's only my opinion, that's all.
Thank you, and Councilman Massaro. I have an opinion. I want to speak. I agree with the 30-day. I think that not that we wouldn't go all the way to September. When we initially thought about it, when I called the mayor to talk to her, I think there was maybe some thought that we wanted to pay attention to it, that there could be things that come up that, I don't know, maybe planning and zoning, whoever does it, didn't think of. So I'm kind of, I see both sides, but I'm more leaning towards the 30 days, and maybe at that point, once that's up, we can extend it out further. Not in regards to the money, but maybe, I'm not really sure. There might be other things that we want to do the next go around. You know, do we want to add something else to this amendment? But, Councilman, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The thing is, with the 30 days, inside 30 days, we might find this to be.
Councilman Cohen, we're inside the finance committee.
I'm
When we
sorry,
bring
I
it
thought
out.
you said for me to go ahead.
No, Councilman Cohen. No, it's a Conlon Cohen. I get it. No worries.
Confused. No,
Go ahead, Barry.
I appreciate everything. There's not a wrong answer here. I just think it's a preference more than anything else. And if it was at all attractive as a middle ground, I might be interested in withdrawing my amendment if we made it until July 1st. This way it gets them through 2 holidays, versus, being, because it still gives you to see how it works. I just think that there's no need to bring this back to the council. But at the same time, if that would be of any interest to the council to bring it back to July 1st versus September 1st, I just think it would be, just give people more time to deliberate, that's all. Okay, because it's already May, whatever it is today, May 8th or 9th, whatever day we're already on, so at 11th, I don't know. Anyway, that's all I had to say. So if anyone's interested, otherwise my amendment stays in place.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor of the amendment? Opposed? Motion carries. So the date is amended to September 1st. And then we need to vote on passing the permit as a whole. All in favor? Opposed? This is only for the Finance Committee. Abstentions? Motion carries. We have before us Communication B from Chief Joseph Perno in regards to the animal shelter donations. I'd like to bring this out favorably. Can a motion to accept? Councilman Massaro, have a second?
Second.
Councilman Bruno, Councilman Cohen. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. So I have before us Communication C from Finance Director Frank Zemblinsky. I'm sorry. In regards to Arlington, I'm so sorry. In regards to the Arlington Fire Department current year budget. I'd like to bring this out favorably.
I second it.
Thank you. Did somebody first it? I'm so sorry. Councilman Cohen first did it.
Second, I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any abstain? Oh, sorry. We did all that. This is so bad. I'm turning red. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. The Finance Committee is closed at 7:31.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Hosky, giving us a good chuckle this evening. So unfinished business, there is none. The council will now reconvene for committee reports. And if Councilwoman Hosky is ready, We will go to the Finance Committee.
I'm really sorry. I'm trying to find the, give me 1 second, my emails. Okay. To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom was referred the matter of permit fees for outdoor dining, reports that the committee met on the 11th day of May 2020 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous decision, unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. The City Council of the City of West Haven hereby suspends the outdoor food dining permit fees for a period not to exceed, how many days is September 1st?
I would just put full September.
Okay. Permit fees for a period. This order will take effect May 12th and expire September 1st, 2020.
Councilwoman Hotchkiss brought forward communication A, as amended from Mayor Nancy R. Rossi in regards to permit fees for outdoor dining, as was read into the record. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Cohen. Is there any discussion on this motion? Councilman Donovan.
Yes, I'm all in favor of this, extending it till September. I know we want to see how it goes and everything, but why bring it back? Like Councilman Cohen said, let's just get it done. We could save our businesses, $50, extend it out. I'm all for this motion.
Thank you, Councilman Donovan. Councilman Conlon.
Yes, I'm very pessimistic about operating a full-service restaurant, indoors, outdoors, or any other kind of doors, and still remaining within the confines of any kind of, excuse me, restrictions related to the coronavirus, especially in view of the fact that although we're seeing a leveling off of the illness here in Connecticut, nationwide, it seems to be seems to be gaining momentum. I think we're much more likely to be revisiting this after the 30 days to see whether or not we want to continue it than we are to want to go to September. And consequently, I'm against the measure. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Conlon. Councilwoman Hamilton.
Our summer sessions are short, so I would hate to have to miss out on a restaurant restaurants having to come back to us and wait for us to be in session. And I would hope that the health department, the city, or our Connecticut Health Department, if they did see, God forbid, any kind of momentum, that they would make a state order and kind of pull back on any privileges. I'm for it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hamilton. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Councilwoman Conlon. Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes by majority.
Okay. To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom was referred the matter of animal shelter donation, reports that the committee met on the 11th day of May 2020 to consider said matter. It is unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved, that the following donation to the Department of Police Service be approved and deposited into line item 1010000282885 animal shelter donation. in the amount of Beth Tiano for $50, Michelle Dalton, $25, Patrick Kelly, $150, Joseph Krakow, $50, Donna Lyons, $50, Angela Russo, $100, A. Falcon, $100, Patricia Garcia, $25, Pamela Shugru, $100, Catherine Piscani, $50, Karen Swaim, $50, James Salato, $100, Daniel Lombardo, $100, Peter Massaro Sr., $25, Susan Mateo, $25, 7 College Street, $20, West Shore Fire District, $100, Alanable, $40.
Council Hopkins brought forward communication B from Chief Joseph Perno in regards to animal shelter donations. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Johnston, Councilwoman O'Connor. Is there any discussion on these donations? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom was referred the matter of multiple current year budget transfers, reports that the committee met on the 11th day of May 2020 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved. The City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the following current year budget transfer. Allentown Fire Department, 195,000,10,55630 radio equipment decreased by $2,000. 195,000,10,52330 training education decreased by $7,000. 195,000,30,53440 medical supplies increased by $7,000. 195,000,10,56010 unallocated contingency decreased by $1,000. 195,000,10,52580 equipment maintenance repair increased $3,000. That's it.
Councilwoman Hosky brought forward communication C from Finance Director Frank Kaplinsky in regards to Allentown Fire Department current year budget transfers as was read into the record. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Massaro, Cohen, Bruno. Is there any discussion on these transfers? Councilwoman Hosky?
Okay, so now that I'm thinking about it, why are we taking money from unallocated contingency?
That's the fire department's unallocated contingencies in their own separate budget.
I know that part, but I'm just saying, like, why there? I mean, shouldn't they want to say that? Because I'm thinking they didn't hire a chief last year, so they should have money in their wages. I guess I'm just saying, like, I don't understand why they would take $1,000 from there when there's money that is still in their wage line item for the chief that wasn't hired. I don't know. I guess now that I'm really looking at it and reading it again, that just stuck out to me. That's all I got.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hosky. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And that motion carries.
And we're good. There's nothing else.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hosky. Adoption of ordinances previously presented. There are none. Council liaison reports. Councilwoman Johnston.
Thank you. I just have a couple of quick updates from the Board of Ed meeting from May 4th. So two things that they voted on. One, the CWA contract, the 4-year contract, they approved unanimously. The Washington school specs were approved. There's a video that you can watch about it details the difference between if they were to renovate or build a new one. And then you can watch there's lots of details outlined in the video about that. The superintendent thanked everybody from maintenance to teachers and admins and support staff who've been reaching out to families, cleaning the buildings, meeting about, how and when to, when they do return to school, meeting with alternative options for that. He also gave an update on the computer situation, and he detailed the number of computers that they've received, several donations from Yale, from the Rotary, from Notre Dame, other places, but that none of them would actually be in hand until the summer. So although they've gotten a number of, a few thousand donations, they don't actually have them yet. And so he wanted the public to know that, because people were concerned that there were all these donations, but not everybody had technology yet. So that's that.
Thank you, Councilwoman Johnston. Councilwoman Hamilton.
Am I allowed to ask liaison a question
Why not?
pertaining to the school?
Sure.
Councilwoman Johnson, I was wondering, did you hear anything about, are we ahead of schedule, or even Councilman Galignano, are we ahead of schedule with the school? The school is out, and I'm seeing a lot of construction going on in the front part. And I was just curious to know if any of you knew if we're ahead of schedule, because that would be grand if we use that time to just, keep it rolling with the construction of the school.
I don't know the answer.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I finally figured out how to do this. Yeah, the school is ahead of schedule. There's actually a high school building committee meeting tomorrow night. Of course, it's a virtual meeting, but they are actually ahead at this point. And they also are below budget too, actually, or ahead. They're really well on the budget at this point. I'll have more information tomorrow. Every time I have one of those meetings, it's always a day after ours, and our next meeting is 2 weeks after that. So I apologize if I never have if I don't update us properly. That's why, because it's always the day after our meeting, and then 2 weeks later, and then you almost forget, or even forget where my notes are, because after 2 weeks, forget it, I'm toast. So I do apologize for that.
Well, it's good information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other council liaison reports? Oh, Councilman Bruno.
Chairman, thank you. There's no police commission meetings at this point. They've been canceled due to the pandemic that's going on. So I've been in contact with the chief. I've talked to a couple of commissioners, but there's nothing to report at this time because there's been no meeting.
Thank you, Councilman Bruno. Any other liaison reports? Councilman Cohen?
Yeah, just to leverage what Councilman Bruno said, there hasn't been an Economic Development Commission meeting in a while due to the pandemic. So I don't have anything to report as of this meeting. Thank you.
Well, that didn't stop the council from meeting now, did it? Any other council liaison reports? Okay, enter into new business. Does anybody have any new business? Councilwoman O'Connor.
I was approached by a gentleman named Derek Phelps. He works for Fuel Cell Energy. He not only called me, but he sent me an email. They're looking for sites to put some fuel cells. I spoke with Gary first because he's the chairman of, is it Public Lands Committee? Something to do with the lands that the city owns. And I also spoke with Councilwoman Hosky, and then I spoke with Chairman Quagliani. Under his advice, I sent an email to David Killeen from the planning department. He sent me back a wonderful email. He says, you know, the city already has one. It's over by the sewer plant. And they were looking to locate one last year, but someone kind of dropped the ball. He suggested that I get a hold of someone from the Board of Ed because they were going to put it by the high school. So I got a hold of Pat Lebro, who's actually been looking into it. She sent an email to Kent Carney. And then my next move was Dave had suggested that I send emails to Tom McCarthy, to Abdul, and to Louis Esposito. So I sent emails to the three of them. They have not gotten back to me yet, but I only sent it to them on Thursday. I'd like to follow up on this because what the company wants to do is to lease land from us. If we win this proposal, this bid, because they're asking 30 different cities in Connecticut, they would lease the land from us, and that would be 20 years of money that we could actually put in our budget. It wouldn't be a one-time land sale that would have to go into contingency. It would be money that we can count on. And then if it works out and they end up buying land, you know, that's what they're really looking to do, is to put up a power plant, but that would be way in the future. That's why I sent everybody the email today, and I'm hoping if anyone has any questions, please get them to me. I don't mind calling and following up with all the emails.
Thank you, Councilwoman O'Connor. Councilman Massaro?
I'm good. I'll wait.
Is there any other new business? Councilman Bruno? Oh, sorry, Mayor. Councilman Bruno, hang on one second, all right? I think the mayor may want to respond to Councilwoman O'Connor. Mayor?
Absolutely. If anybody has ideas like this, the first person they should start with after like the council members is me. So that's probably why no one responded back, because the city hall workers work for me. And so again, there's a process with anything like this, especially with a long-term lease. There'd have to be RFPs, there would have to be different things involved. Now, even if it's on Board of Ed property, the city controls all the RFPs, not the Board of Ed. The Board of Ed would come to us then and say, we want an RFP. So without having any of the information, I'd appreciate if it could get forwarded to me, and then I will discuss it. There was some things with the fuel cell, and I don't think it was anybody dropped the ball. There was some problem with it. I don't remember offhand the exact things. I know, I want to say Ken Carney might have been involved with it. But again, I'm just learning about this tonight, so I don't have any answers yet. Doesn't mean I won't have any answers. I just don't have any tonight. So that goes for anything. If anybody's asking for a department head to come, anything at all like that, CCing me, information is greatly, greatly appreciated. And one other thing I would like to, while I have the floor, so I don't have to bother again, I would like a copy of Aaron Charney's letter. So if Stacy Riccio could email that to me tomorrow, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Is there any other new business? Councilman Cohen? Oh, I'll get to you, Councilman Bruno, right after this. Sorry about that.
Actually, it's it actually has to do with what we just heard tonight from Mr. Charney. When he had an interesting thought, and so, you know, at least I felt that the 3% low interest rates, what we voted for, and the abatement idea I thought was wonderful, and I still think it's wonderful. But I kept thinking about that confidentiality, about having to read people's names that want abatements. And I don't know what's involved with completing an application or the, you know, upfront. I also don't know what type of revenue the city might lose. I mean, it's nice we had all the money in the world that we're able to give zero interest loans. But I would ask, and I don't know the appropriate way to do this, I would ask just to get some type of estimate that if we were to consider at a future meeting to lower the interest rate from 3% to 1% or 0%, what type of money are we looking at? Because there's obviously some criteria other towns are doing with the application. I would be interested, and I don't want to ask for that unilaterally, so I'm looking for a little bit of input, and if I need to take this offline, I will, but it was just the elephant in the room that just caught my eye. So that's all I have. If someone wants to give me some direction, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
So Councilman Cohen, my suggestion is that you should probably check with the Corp Council to see if that's even allowable. I know that we had to make a decision based on the two sets of criteria that the governor laid out in the executive order, and one was the deferment and one was the lower interest rate. So we chose the latter, and then we recognized that, geez, if we could help our residents one more step, I believe that's what Councilman Bruno brought up as far as the abatement. I think the question would be, I think it's laid out by statute about how you apply for abatement, and based on this scenario, if that information could be kept confidential when it approaches the council, I think you need to start with the Corp Council.
Yeah, and I thank you very much. And by the way, I love the abatement idea that Councilman Bruno brought up, and I totally was on line with everything you said. But I just may check it out and just report back to the council next time, because it's just never struck me, So, but thank you so much for the guidance. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilman Cohen. Is there any other new business? Councilman Bruno, I'm glad you reminded me again.
It's all good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank all the first responders, our nurses, our doctors, all of our essential workers for all they are doing during this pandemic. And I just think it's real important that we keep them in our thoughts and our prayers. And I want to mention that in tonight's meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman Bruno. I do have one question, and Mayor, I don't want to put you on the spot. So if you don't know, maybe you could get back. As far as not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I know that I had a lot of activity regarding questions about beaches being opening, and now currently people asking about summer camps. And I don't know it snowed this past weekend, so there probably wasn't a lot of activity, but I know it's going to get warmer. I don't know if there's any decisions that have been made yet about either of those two things.
No decisions have been made yet, but I do have a meeting tomorrow morning with Mark Payne, the chief, Maureen Lillis, I want to say Tom McCarthy, and maybe a couple of others, because we are looking at, reopening the boardwalk. The beaches, just so everybody knows, the beaches have always been open. The only thing that hasn't been open was the parking lot. And unfortunately, I had to have the police go down there again this weekend because they busted the chains and went driving where they weren't supposed to. So Chief Perno had to get some police officers, extra police officers down there and take care of that and relock the chains. So the problem's going to be what my worry is that people aren't going to follow the social distancing. I see that with other states that I've been watching throughout the day where they've allowed social distancing, and you wouldn't even think there ever was a virus by some of these. So that's the scary part. And I think that's what, we're going to discuss tomorrow. As far as the camps, I know they had like a very broad I think that came out a couple of weeks ago, and I know Maureen Lillis wasn't in favor of it, along with Mark Payne. So that is still another work in progress. But I know what you're saying. Camp is really around the corner. The school is supposed to get out 11th or 12th in June, which again is a month away, and that will go by quickly. So, but as soon as I have information, we'll be putting it up on the website as it becomes available, because we want to be ready for it. And again, I'm putting together a small committee just to talk about how we're going to reopen West Haven and what we're going to do, with our businesses and what the thoughts are as far as not only restaurants, but our businesses. And I know now, again, I see a lot of pushback from, hairdressing, and I get it, being that I am a licensed hairdresser. I know what it's about to have people, that close to you and with blow dryers and all that kind of stuff. So I get that some of them are willing to go back, but then others are very afraid that it's too early. So it's kind of hard because you're going to get opinions from both sides on most of these things, and we've got to defer to what we believe is the safe thing for the citizens of West Haven. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And just a reminder to the council, I forwarded everyone the call-in information for tomorrow's MARB subcommittee meeting. If we could get everybody to dial in and listen, and then if there are any questions that the mayor or others need us to weigh in on, we'd be there to do that in support of the approved budget. So that's tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Is there any other new business? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Everybody have a nice rest of the evening.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.